What's up guys, my name is Ace and welcome to episode 2 of The Breakdown, the series where I analyze your gameplay to help you improve. Now before we get into today's episode, I want to talk about gameplay submissions. I'm no longer accepting gameplay submissions, and the simple reason for that is I've received a ton of them already, way more than enough to get me through until the end of Ghosts and until Advanced Warfare comes out. And I'm not going to be analyzing Ghost gameplay once Advanced Warfare is out. I'm going to be focusing 100% on Advanced Warfare. So I've got way more than enough submissions, so that means if you have submitted gameplay to me, then it's still possible that I will be analyzing your gameplay, so don't get too discouraged. But at the same time, don't get your hopes up too much, because I'm probably only going to be doing one of these episodes every week. That's my plan at the moment, depending on how my time works, because it does take a fair amount of time to do these episodes, but that's my plan, so don't get your hopes up too much, but at the same time, it's still possible that I will be analyzing your gameplay if you've already submitted it to me. Alright guys, so let's get into today's episode, and today we're going to be analyzing a gameplay from a guy who actually does YouTube videos, so I will link his channel in the description, and his name is ProBeast. So he is a little bit of a higher level player. You can tell very clearly throughout this gameplay that he has great gun skill. So a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about today are some more advanced things, and they might sound a little bit nitpicky because they aren't going to be quite as obvious as some of the mistakes that a newer player or a more average player would make. But I feel like this is a good way to mix it up a little bit. This isn't a super exceptional gameplay from him or anything like that. There are lots of mistakes to point out, but they are more along the lines of a higher level mistake rather than your aim was off or something like that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the class that he decided to use. So he's using the Vector CRB with Grip, Rapid Fire, and Red Dot. And for his perks, we have Sleight of Hand, which is great, Focus, which is absolutely necessary in my opinion, Fully Loaded, which is good for the class that he's using because he's using Rapid Fire on an SMG, so Fully Loaded is going to be helpful for this class. But the next perk is something that I don't agree with and I feel should be changed on this class. He's using the Extra Attachment perk. And this is a 3-point perk, so it's taking up a lot of your perk points, and I feel it's just not very necessary, and it doesn't really help nearly as much as some other perks would for the same value. So for this class, I would probably drop the Red Dot off of the Vector. I feel it's the least necessary, if you want to go for Rapid Fire, that is. The Vector without Rapid Fire is still a great SMG, but the Rapid Fire is kind of a cool option to play with. And because you're using Rapid Fire, Grip is a good option because it helps keep that recoil down. So in that case, I would drop the Red Dot off of this gun. And then for perks, instead of that Extra Attachment, I would go with something like Ready Up and Dead Silence. That's probably what my choice would be instead of this. And I feel like those two perks would help you so much more than a Red Dot would help you in this case. And finally, for his perks, he has Hardline, which, again, I don't really agree with. It doesn't really mesh with my playstyle, especially when you're running Specialist. For Assault, it might be kind of useful, but for Specialist, I feel Hardline, it doesn't really help a whole lot. Sure, you earn your perks that 1 kill sooner, and you will get those assists that count as kills, which is nice, but in my opinion, it doesn't help nearly as much as a perk would. That would be just working for you at all times. So something like Marathon or Lightweight, or is it Agility? They call it Agility in this game. That would be working for you all the time, and Hardline, it kind of helps a little bit. Now getting into the game, he's playing Kill Confirmed, he takes a nice rush route, and he wins 2 gunfights really nicely, great gun skill here, and he also drop shots, which is great when you run into enemies out in the open like this. But right here, I'm going to pause it, and I want you to look at the mini-map at this point. Look where his teammates are looking. They're looking directly down that doorway there, that archway, whatever you want to call that. And that's where he's looking as well. So at this point, he's kind of being redundant. His teammates are going to have a line of sight on those enemies that'll be in that area way before he ever will. And they'll likely earn those kills before him. So right now, he's kind of useless. He's not doing anything to help his team. There's no way that an enemy can come into his line of sight before his teammates are going to kill them. The thing that he really should be worrying about at this point is his back. You can see that he has one teammate behind him, but if you were paying attention at all, or if you look really closely right now, that teammate is way in the enemy spawn and actually not watching his back at all. And this is the first little mistake that I noticed. He's being redundant and he should be paying attention to an area that his teammates don't have a line of sight on at this point. And this is what actually earns him his first death. So now he spawns in and he runs up here, runs into a guy, and wins the gunfight. This was pure gun skill that won that gunfight. It was a fair gunfight otherwise, and his gun skill simply beat out his enemy, so that was good. Now right here, it looked like a little bit of lag or something went on, but once again, it was just a fair gunfight, and he happened to lose that one. So right here is the second mistake that I noticed. Now rewinding it and looking at it in slow motion, his teammate pushes out into the open and dies. This should have been the first indication that this is not a safe doorway to look through, but he pushes out there anyways, and he completely exposes his body in an area where the enemy clearly has the advantage in that gunfight. It would have been okay to take a peek to see where that enemy was, or enemies in this case, and then get out of the way, but he kind of committed to this. He pushed right out into the open. As you can see right now, his entire body is exposed, and he completely deserved this death. He pushed out into the open, and he should have known that he had a clear disadvantage in this gunfight. Alright, so once again, he spawns in, and right here, I really like how he does this. He notices that this vehicle is on fire, and he shoots it and blows it up. He quite possibly just saved his teammate's life, so if you ever see a car or like a barrel burning, as long as you're the last person to put damage into that vehicle, then it won't do any damage to your teammates if they're nearby. It will still kill you, but it won't damage your teammates. So that's one thing, great situational awareness there. So we got a nice flank in towards the enemy spawn, got this kill from behind, and right here is another thing that I love that he did. He learned from his previous mistakes. So he once again found himself in the situation where he was exposing himself in this doorway, and he took some shots from some enemies. He got out of there really quickly, and then he ran away while just taking a quick peek back. This, like I said in the previous episode, is something that separates the average player from a player that really knows what they're doing. They learn from their mistakes. Now right here is another thing that I really like that he does. He decides to approach it from a different angle and get a nice vantage point on his enemies that were in that area. He gets one kill, kills a dog, and then he gets out of there. That's another big thing with this area. You don't want to hang out on that catwalk for too long because you don't really have any cover. And if enemies catch on to what you're doing, they'll kill you very, very easily. Now right here is just one of those unfortunate situations. He scanned the area, he did everything right before dropping down, and it turned out there was an enemy that was just out of his line of sight, and they kind of ran into each other face to face when they weren't really expecting each other. And he managed to lose. His enemy came out on top. So not much of a mistake, but it happens. Okay, so now I want to pause it right here. Would you guys take this shot knowing that you're using an unsilenced weapon? I know I wouldn't, because it looks like this enemy is going to be getting around that corner far before he's going to be able to finish the kill on him. It's very likely he's going to be able to hit him a few times, but it's not likely that he'll be able to finish that kill. And in this situation, the enemy actually manages to get around that corner while taking a bit of damage. Now that enemy knows exactly where he is, he was able to sort of regroup, gather his thoughts, and then he challenged him and managed to win the gunfight against Pro Beast, which was a little bit unfortunate, but at the same time, a completely avoidable death. I would have been a little bit more patient with him, not taking those initial shots, just kind of chased him down and then shot him in the back. The guy had no idea he was coming, and if he wouldn't have taken the shots, it would have been an easy kill. Now right here, not a whole lot to mention, not a whole lot's going on. He's just coming out of spawn, but coming up right about here as he comes around this corner, he waits till his teammate goes, he goes, finishes his gunfight, and then he knows when to get out of there. He knows he's not going to win that gunfight against the second enemy, so he got out of there, and that was great. Now he's also being very patient here, and he uses this little jump spot that I really like using. I use this a lot in the original Dome map as well. You can jump up to sort of just see what's going on around there. I tried to take a few shots through there, but wasn't successful, and he backed away from that, which I really liked. He backed away from a situation where his enemies had the advantage. Backed away, got that kill. Now right here, I don't know why he didn't go and collect that tag. I would have personally collected that tag and flanked all the way around, but he decided to go to the middle, win a couple gunfights, and then he got picked off by a guy that was on the catwalk. It's one thing you kind of have to be aware of on this map. That catwalk does have a line of sight over a good portion of the map. Now right here is a nice situation as well. He drop shots this guy. Again, he has no cover, so drop shotting is a great option. And he's patient here. He doesn't just rush in for those tags instantly. Unfortunately, he gets quickscoped by this guy. That's just one of those cases where it's like, that kind of sucks. The guy hit his quickscope. If he would have missed, then it would have been an easy kill, but he managed to hit that quickscope, and too bad, you ended up dying. Now, good awareness there. I think he probably soundhoarded that guy, or he was paying attention to his minimap and saw him up on the catwalk. And nice easy kill for him, picked him off. And now he knows there's an enemy that's coming through here, and he just waits for him aimed down sight. Now, normally I'd say really good play, good idea, if he had an assault rifle or if he didn't have a rapid fire SMG. The fact that he's using rapid fire on an SMG kind of makes this a little bit too long of a gunfight to be challenging. He does actually come out on top in this gunfight. He does beat his enemy, but it wasn't really the smartest move in my opinion, just because he doesn't have the ideal gun to be locking down a longer line of sight like this one. So he finishes his kill and he pushes out and continues to expose himself to that longer line of sight, and of course, a guy with an LMG beats him out. And for good reason. The guy had an LMG in a longer range gunfight. Now right here, great patience. You're sort of waiting for your teammates to push up because it wasn't quite safe to push out into the open. And as you can see, there was an enemy there, but he waited till his teammates pushed up and it was a little bit more safe. Now right here is kind of a big error and a pretty obvious error. So we're going to look back at that one more time. So as he came around this corner, he's strafing, which does help him win this gunfight, but he strafes right out into the open, and now he's completely committed to being out in the open. He should have used cover a lot more effectively in this situation. He completely exposed himself, and he just ran out of options. Now right here, again, he's challenging a gunfight that is just too far for his gun to handle on a consistent basis. Sure, it's possible to get a kill there, but it's not very likely. And right here, he realized there was a guy on the catwalk, and I like how he laid down here to sort of minimize his profile. Again, that was a long gunfight, but the guy had already taken damage, so he managed to pick up the kill on him. In this situation, it looks like he's kind of realized that going that middle route isn't going to work. The enemies have it locked down, and they're just picking off his teammates over and over. So he avoided that situation, which was great. He would have had a disadvantage in that gunfight. So he flanked around, managed to get a kill on this guy. That was awesome play on his part. So now he's being patient and actually healing up, which a lot of people kind of fail to do when they're playing with an SMG. They rush a little bit too much, but he managed to heal up there, which was good. That last gunfight was kind of a result of the fact that he doesn't have ready up on this class, and also it was just a simple fact the enemy was ready for him and he wasn't quite ready for that enemy. Now, once again, he's challenging a gunfight that is outside of the effective range of his SMG. I don't think he should have wasted quite as much time on this guy as he did. He spent quite a lot of time trying to challenge that guy that has a very powerful position and is also just simply outside of the effective range of this rapid fire vector. So I feel like he wasted just too much time trying to challenge this guy, and he would have been more effective spending his time elsewhere, getting kills, maybe trying to flank into the enemy spawn. He managed to stay alive through that whole time, so at least he didn't get killed by that guy. He used cover great, but like I said, he just wasted a little bit too much time. And right there, he died to that score streak, and sometimes it's just one of those what can you do moments. Now right here, he's at a clear disadvantage. It's 2 versus 1, so 2 guys against him, but he manages to use his superior gun skill to beat these guys out, and that kind of goes to show how important gun skill can be. He drop shots and he uses cover to his advantage to beat not only one, but both enemies. After killing those guys, he did pop up on the radar since he's not using a silencer, and this guy was just really aggressive with him and managed to kill him. That's just how it works. The guy was super aggressive and put a lot of pressure on him, and he died. So right here is the final mistake of the game, because the game is just about to come to an end. It's not so much a mistake, just something I wanted to point out that I still do all the time, and that's just over-reliance on a teammate. So him and his teammate pushed out of this doorway. He checked left, and his teammate went left, and he had a quick look to the left, and then he just kind of relied on his teammates to have his left side covered, and he pushed towards the middle. It was pretty much a good play. He did have a quick look, but his teammate just didn't manage to secure what he kind of expected his teammates to secure. So don't rely too heavily on your teammates, especially if they're random teammates and they aren't somebody that you know you can trust to have decent gun skill and win their gunfights. So that wraps up the game. He managed to go 21-13 with only 6 tags, which for him is a below average game. I've seen other gameplays from him where he did very, very well. So this is definitely a below average gameplay for him. I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description below. Same goes for everyone that does have a YouTube channel that I end up analyzing their gameplay for. So make sure you guys go and check them out. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.